All right, you all, welcome to another episode of the Spears Studio. Today, we're thrilled to spotlight a true visionary whose journey from the streets of Chicago to the global stage embodies the essence of artistic resilience and passion, with a multifaceted portfolio spanning from fashion, tattooing, DJing, modeling, etc. Kim's artistry knows no bounds. Join us as we delve into her captivating narrative, exploring the influences of her Chicago upbringing and the evolution of her distinctive style, and the profound impact of her work within and beyond the art community. So, without further ado, welcome into the studio and stepping into the studio today is Kim Aponi, a true beacon and creative, like inspiration to many.
Ooh, what an intro.
Yay! I love
Thank
a
you
good
so much for
intro.
having me.
Of course. No, thank you for being here. And like you said, happy International Women's Day today. So
Whoop,
today's
whoop.
episode's a little special today. We got the girl power, girl bosses here, and I'm just super excited to get into it. So Kim, I know everyone always says like how I'm supposed to come up with an intro, like how you just did that, but like in your own words, tell us who you are. Give us your own little flavor.
For
Who's Kim?
sure. Well, hey, yours was amazing. You feel me? I don't even know if I can top
Thank you.
all that. But my name is Kim Aponi, multi-talented artist, really energy scientist. That's what I really like to call
Yes.
myself. I try to
Like that.
channel myself into other areas, different areas. Everything I do is genuine and authentic, and that's what keeps it smooth, to be honest.
Mhm.
I've been in the artistic world since I was 16. Started off with fashion. That's really where I have most of my hours in.
Mhm.
Um, Throughout the time, I've kind of like dipped into other mediums, including tattooing, like you said, DJing. That's always been a good hobby of mine.
Yes.
Music in general is a love for mine. So anything that I take interest in, I just really try to like pursue it, get my practice in whenever I can. And
Mhm.
every day it's just that pursuit to be better. So I'm
Yeah.
happy that that gets to be shown and get to be seen by people in my city. And hopefully I just, have infectious energy. And that's really the whole point
Yes.
of everything.
I think you do. And I feel like you're when you love something and you truly like passionate about it, it shows like just in yourself how you show up like in just everyday life. And it shows in your other like avenues. Like you passionate about everything. It's not just fashion, like you said. You dabbled into different mediums, but we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna get into that a little later. So I want to like start with like your beginnings because that's the
Mm.
whole purpose of, my podcast, and it's very important to me. Like how did you like what initially first drew you to even like the world of art and design?
Definitely. So let's see. That's a great question. I feel like I don't really talk about like 15-year-old Kim or
Right.
15
No,
year
we
old
need to
Kim for
talk about
sure.
it because she was bringing out the city at the age of 6. How did
Tell him,
that
girl.
happen? Like
Tell him.
what?
Tell him. Tell him. And it's so funny. I appreciate just the recognition so much. I'm always so grateful for anything, even if it's just, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yes.
that means so much to me. When I was younger, I feel like I always had like really big aspirations. Like
Hmm.
you could have talked to me at 15, I would have been talking about probably the same stuff I'm doing and talking about
Really?
now at 20. So
Hmm.
really young Kamisha knew that she wanted to be different. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? And I think as kind of a teenager, I had a hard time kind of like categorizing myself. And I was like,
Hmm.
oh, like, my best friend was a dancer growing up. And I'm like, oh, she a dancer. Like,
Yeah.
I'm thinking of like those Coca-Cola cans. Like,
Right, right,
oh,
right.
I'm a dancer. I'm a this, I'm a that. So I'm like, I'm really, as a teenager, I was really trying to like figure out what was going to be my thing. I'm like, okay, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that. And then when I got into high school, that's when the thing kind of found me. And I
Mm.
realized I'm like, okay, like I have visions for certain things. I could see certain things. Let me see if I can just, start making them happen. So
Right.
my first real vision, I feel like that I kind of started to put real action towards was me
Mhm.
painting.
Mm.
So I didn't necessarily like grow up with like a professional painting background or really I don't even have like painters in my family for real. These are like I have construction painters in my family for real.
Really?
So yeah, so growing up it was kind of interesting to find that kind of like thing by myself and let that kind of be like my little thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got the confidence when I was like, you know, a little bit older in high school to start painting on clothes. And that's what really started to change kind of like just my visions for myself and really just my name around town for real, for real.
Right.
So yeah, I was like painting on denim for a long time, like
Mm-hmm.
like the first 2 years of me doing it for real. And it was pretty much like consumer focused. Like I was only doing stuff that people was placing orders for. So this
Got you.
caused me to create a really good kind of like business relationship and business DNA at an early age. Like
It
at
did.
15, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm just like really trying to cater to everyone that believes in me. And that
Mm-hmm.
also helped me kind of like elevate myself even more because I was taking in that criticism. I was taking in, you know, the smaller bits of
At
advice.
15?
At 15, I'm like, come
Criticism?
on. Yeah. I'm like, come on, run it. My mom is an Aries. Like,
Oh,
I was
yeah.
born with criticism. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
But
So
at 15, how did you like? Because most 15-year-olds don't, like, especially about
mhm.
art, people are sensitive. As an artist, people are sensitive about this. So
Woo!
at 15, you were like taking constructive
Yes.
criticism?
I'm like, run it. You know what I'm saying? But
Wow.
that's the type of, you know, that's the type of intrinsic motivation I've had my whole
Yeah.
life. I'm just very much like, we from Chicago.
Yeah.
Everyone got that, run it. You know, that
Mm-hmm.
like we
They
got
do.
that in us so bad. So
Yes.
I'm happy that I'm able to like alchemize that energy and that fire within
Mm.
me and be like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, how can I get this energy and
Yeah.
make me better every day, or even just these visions that I have type thing.
Wow. I'm still stuck at 15. You haven't even like that, being that brave to just be like, okay, like I'm gonna just, not be
Yep.
sensitive, not get mad at nobody like my mom. Like, cause
Yep.
at 15, if my mom said something about my artwork, I'd be like, girl, what? I just painted
Right.
the Mona Lisa. You talking about, like I'd be
Nah, for
offended.
real.
But I love that. That's so different. You don't hear that
Yeah.
often. Like, knowing
Mhm.
I almost think like I always talk about this a lot. Like people, like you are like who you are at a young age. Like you come with your talents in this world, and like that's a true like example of like what you just said. Like nobody in your family is like we're doing what you do, and you just
Mhm.
gravitated towards it naturally because that's what you was set on this earth to do initially. So that's pretty cool.
Thank you
That's
so much.
cool. That's really cool. So
Yes.
I know like what do you have like any specific influences or experiences like more so like you have a specific moment like growing up like you like was like that like kind of shaped like why I do what I do like solidified it.
Loki, now that you like asked me, I feel like I've never asked myself this question or even been asked this question. But
That's what we
and
do
this
at the
is some
studio.
people, you know what I'm saying? Some people might not get this, but
Mm-hmm.
2016 really like shaped me, you know, because I was
Really?
15 in 2016.
Mm-hmm.
So 2016 really shaped me. That was like the Uzi year,
Oh my God.
going crazy.
Yes.
Cardi.
Yes.
I was listening to Lucky back then. They weren't listening to
They
Lucky.
weren't
I
listening to
was
Lucky
listening
at
to Lucky back
2016.
then. You feel me, right? So, I mean, I feel like music in general and art in
Mm-hmm.
general in 2016 was
Right.
like real popping, you know what I'm saying?
It
And
was.
that year in general was I was traveling a lot. So I was like
Mm-hmm.
right in between like, you know, me finishing grammar school and me going into high school. So I
Right.
got the chance to go visit some family on the West Coast.
Oh.
And I was like on the West Coast when like, you know, Uzi was getting popular, all this other stuff. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
like combining like all of this new stuff with
Mm-hmm.
like 2012, you know, stuff that I'm still listening to on Spinrilla.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, just
Oh, Spirilla.
combination, like such a good combination of different things.
Yes.
And yeah, I think like literally 2012 to 2016, like the fact that I was a teenager in those years and I'm from
Mm-hmm.
Chicago, like
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize how much that impacted me until I started going other places. And I'm like, oh, y'all didn't get that? Y'all didn't get
Right.
that little
Right.
sprinkle that okay, all right, cool. Yeah. You know?
That's actually a good transition. Like speaking of like, like the Chicago like art landscape, it's really like very diverse. The cultural landscape here is super diverse as well. So like how I know you rep Chicago, like everybody know, like you rep Chicago till you die, like
Real
all the
bad.
time. But how
You know
like
what
how did
I'm
Chicago's influence? It's on you. It's
saying?
on you. How did the
Real bad.
influence of like, like Chicago just influence like your artistic style, your perspective and views on the city? And how does it like inspire today? Because like you said, like that was a different time. Like 2016 was completely different from 2024. Like, does
Real
it still
different.
influence, like, the Chicago then and Chicago now? How does it work?
Ooh, okay. Yes, I feel like it always is going to be a forever inspiration for me, to be
Mm-hmm.
honest. And
Mm-hmm.
really, I credit that to my ability to adjust to the city, for one. Because Chicago be changing and the energy within the city be changing so much.
So much. So
Right.
much. Like really
um,
bad.
right, you know what I'm saying? But it's kind of like I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna give my parents some credit. They really made it a point to make like I'm from the west side of Chicago. So we
You
was
from the
always
west
west.
side?
Yes, ma'am, 290.
Me
Yes,
too.
ma'am.
What?
Oh,
You're from the west side? Okay, hey.
right.
I don't never meet no west siders. Everybody from out south. I did not
And
know you from out
that's
west.
why I be so because don't nobody, you feel me? Exactly, right. So and I think that's another quality I think of people that's from out west. It's like we
Yeah,
have a little bit of a rounder perspective of this whole city for real.
I swear
You
we
know
do.
what I'm saying? Like everybody be thinking, I'm like, okay, out south, cool, yeah, but out west, that is the wow west, baby. That's a whole different city for
Oh
real.
my God. We could have a whole nother episode just about out west. I can't believe this. I'm in disbelief right now. Oh my God.
So, synergy, alignment be
It is.
doing its
Dang, it's
thing.
crazy.
That's cool though. But yeah, I'm just happy that I got to go around the city for real, and just seeing different
Mm-hmm.
parts of the city made me always fall in love with the city. And
Yep.
as I got older and I started to like go through different things within the city, oh
Mm-hmm.
baby, we locked in now. It's like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? It's like one of those things where it's like I connect, like no one could ever take away
Mm-hmm.
my 18, 22 some years, you know
Right.
what I'm saying, in the city. So it's always gonna
That's
be
true.
love for Chicago.
Wow. I can't believe like I never knew you was from out west. Like this is crazy. And like you said, I love how you said like each as you discover like a different part of the city, like it's gonna hold something happened there. Like like a story, different things that happened in different parts,
Yeah.
which is good because people don't explore their city though. And they really don't. So
Mm-hmm.
I like how you said that. But I want to talk about like, okay, let's go back to 15-year-old Kim. Like as your brand began like getting traction, recognition, like how did you navigate that? Like the balance between staying to your true like artistic like vision? Like did you have like a little split? Like how people be like, okay, I want to cater to this crowd. Like, like I'm popping right now, I want to cater to this crowd, but then I'm like, nah, like I don't want to put out something that's popular. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
people put out things that they necessarily might not like, but it'll sell. It's for the people. Like, did you ever battle with that at all?
Mm, that's a great question. Honestly, I'm very, very grateful because I feel like I identified myself as and I'm gonna say this professional, and then I'm gonna say it the way I really want to say it.
Okay.
I've always identified myself as an entrepreneur.
Okay.
As a young adult, I was hustling before I was doing anything for real.
Right.
That's just accredited to my family. Like I have a really, really like very much motivated and getting to it family.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just so grateful that I identified as a businesswoman
Yeah.
before I necessarily like stepped out into my artistic, abilities.
Right.
So I have kind of been that back and forth, but at the end of the day,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna do what's best for my business. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Sometimes that looks different,
Mm-hmm.
depending on like the times and like
It
like you said,
does.
what is popular and what's popping and how I'm feeling and what I can do. My capacity
Mm-hmm.
has a lot to do with my
It
business.
does.
Exactly. Yeah. So you know what I'm saying? That's especially as a young adult too. Like I'm
Right.
a baby, I'm a teenager for real. I'm just a girl and we bosses. You know what I'm saying? So
Like
I mean,
that could have been a lot. Like, growing up, even like identifying yourself even without like the business, like just who was Kim? Like going through high
bingo.
school, like and then you have a business that's just like you throwing events in the summertime.
Uh,
Like,
uh, uh, uh.
how do you even get to know yourself? Like, how did you even like, like solidify your like what in the bed, like at night, like okay, let
Right.
me let me decompress, like everything stay out. Like it's hard to have like a
Mm,
creative mind like that that's always constantly moving, constantly meeting folks. You might feel like you have a demand for something.
every
So
time.
so you actually solidified yourself at a young age, like you said, this is who I am, and it's been that ever
Yeah.
since.
Real bad. And I'm happy that I was able, like, how you saying like the split. I think
Right.
that was kind of like, and actually I haven't even said this on anything before, but that's why I go by Kim instead of
Mm,
Kamisha. My first
really?
name is Kamisha,
Mm-hmm.
Kimisha.
But you go by
Yes.
Kim.
But I go by Kim because, I got to package a certain part of myself and that can go out. You feel
Mm.
Yeah, so that's how I've always kind of, even at a young age, that's always how I've kind of navigated it. So my business or my brand never felt like it was taking away from, me or
Right.
per se. It was
Right.
just like, oh, we gonna keep it cute and condensed and in these three little letters. So
Yep.
y'all can even understand it, because Kamisha is a whole different
A whole
flower
different.
that you're ready for.
I love that. But
You feel
that's
what
in
I'm
a way like
saying?
that's protecting your peace, that's protecting your
Mm-hmm.
identity because like you said, consumers business is different than personal things.
100%.
You can know Kim, but you don't know Kamisha. Like you really
Bingo.
don't know, like you don't know me for real. Like it's all
Exactly.
love. Like you rock with my business, I rock with you. Like you know Kim. Like you know what I
Yeah.
put out, what I dish out. But you really don't know. Like you don't sit down with me. You don't know my inner moods, feeling like it's a lot. People are so complex. And I love that you really separated the two because I feel like today, I feel like it's so mixed. Like
Yeah.
people don't like differentiate like themselves. Like it's just one thing and they put it out. It's like no boundaries.
Right.
Like what? Like here we can you hide some of yourself? Like let it be a mystery, like a little.
Yeah.
I know
Just a
everything about you.
little.
Just
A
a little.
little. All
I
right.
like that though. I like that a lot.
Thanks.
So would you think, okay, was there any moments of like self-doubt at a young like any challenges? Like what challenges came?
Yeah, definitely. I would say honestly, I ain't gonna lie, like I'm not necessarily a doubtful person, but I'm human. So
You
I'm always hood. I'm gonna always put that one in there.
mm-hmm.
I'm human, baby. And it's like
Yep.
we, as different and as complex all of us are, we really are the same.
Yep.
So, my brain is literally atomically wired to
Mhm.
doubt, certain things and certain
Yep.
things. But I'm a very high spirited person.
Mhm.
So I'm a very optimistic person. So that's one thing I'm grateful for. Even at a young age, I've been
Mhm.
always like super optimistic and just hopeful. And I think that comes from really just the ability of alchemizing the type of experiences that I grew up in and being
Right.
like, hey, now that I'm getting older, I'm finding myself, I'm becoming, a real person, a real adult.
Mhm.
I'm going to start using all of these things that could have hindered and hurt me and start
Mm.
using that as fuel to keep me going. So,
Yes.
I think you just regular Chicago kid things, what I'm saying? I could go on for hours, for real, for real. But the mental, emotional, and physical abuse that a Chicago child has to go through of simply being present and simply being human in our city,
Yes.
every single last experience on every single side of the city at that.
Mhm. Like
So,
it don't matter where you from, what side,
oh,
you just
right,
experienced it.
exactly. Yeah. So, and that's why I feel like, that has been infused so much in my brand. You know what I'm saying? When you turn, those type of things like negative energy into a positive, the
Mhm.
positives hit a little bit harder. You know
Yep.
what I'm saying? Because people can
Yep.
really see, like, oh, okay, it wasn't just out the gate like this. Like she really molded and built
Yes.
and structured this like this. So
Mhm.
yeah, I'm really grateful, to be honest, to be able to call myself, a rebuilder pretty much of the experiences I've gone through.
That's important. I feel like that's good emotional, like even like work in yourself, like inner work. And that's what a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people lack. Like they lack that, like changing that, like you said, negative energy and changing it into positive and using it as fuel instead of like
Bingo.
keep being, down in the dumps, not doing nothing, like
Mm-hmm.
changing it to something positive. And I love that. I really love that. All
Thank
right.
you.
Okay. So we're gonna transition because 15-year-old Kim happened. We're in the now. We're in the now. So you have such a diverse like range of like artistic talents. So how did you even start? Like, let's talk about the tattoos, the DJ. Like, how did that even come about? Like, they were hobbies first, and then now you just like going in it,
Yeah,
going
that's
hard.
cool. That's what. Thank you so much for even just acknowledging that sometimes, because sometimes people would just be like, they don't want to talk about all of it. You know what I'm saying? That'd be too much for them. So I
That's the whole
appreciate
Kim package. That's Kim, the
it.
whole
You feel
package.
me? Thank
Talk
you.
about the
I'm
package.
glad you see, you get the vibe for it.
Yes.
That's cool. So I'm gonna talk about them kind of like in chronological order because I feel like it might be easier to explain.
Oh,
So
that's perfect.
I went from painting right into clothes because I was painting on top of
Painting.
clothes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then from clothes, I took a break in high school. Clothes got me closer to music. Fashion, I think fashion and music are very closely related. Fashion and hip hop alone,
Yeah.
extremely correlated. You know what I'm saying? So fashion got me into music really, really heavy. I have a music management background. I have a musical engineer background. I wasn't engineering back then, but I've always been very interested in the process of making
Really?
music. So in high school, I've always just even like my friends was always like, musical artists. I was always trying to be involved with shows, parties, those types of things, entertainment altogether for real, for real. And then really the technicality of fashion design is what I decided to pursue as an adult. I was like, okay, like the entertainment business is cool, but that's always going to be there. Let me go try to sharpen up these skills and technicality and pretty much design engineering within clothes. I was really, really blessed and fortunate to get myself over to Parsons School of Design. So after high school, I went to New York City and moved in with 3 Southwest bags, baby, by myself.
Really?
Yes, ma'am. And I'm the first one in I'm the only child, but I'm the first one in my family to go to college. And, we over here trying to break generational curses and just try something new. You know what I'm saying? My parents are amazing, driven people. And I just was like, you know what? I want to give y'all what y'all gave me. So then that kind of like pushed me into other mediums of just exploration. When I got to New York, I learned how to DJ. One of my dear friends taught me how to DJ. Wow. And all you had to do was teach me once. And I was like, oh, okay, we on it now. Like I'm in Guitar Center every day after school. I'm hitting the CDJs on the weekends. Like I was just very intrigued by learning a new skill.
Wow.
And then when I was in New York too, I think it was actually very easier for me to like come to terms with like the adult version of myself. I'm like 18, you know what I'm saying? I don't have no big old family supervision out there. Everybody in the city don't know me. Ooh, love that one.
Oh my
Shout out
God.
to that one. Because
That's
that's so,
great.
you know what I'm saying? That's big for development. It's to
It
just be
is.
somewhere that's new. So then that caused me to pick up new things. So yeah, that's really how I got into like DJing and music creation and all that type of stuff. I was also working for a fashion brand at the time, a Black luxury brand, real popular brand. And that one was really cool. That also helped me like push myself back into clothes. Like, yeah, I'm like, don't give this up. Like just, keep both going. So then everything else kind of like surrounded around that. So my newest hobby is tattooing. And that's really been within like 2 years in the making, max.
Really? It's been 2 years?
Max. Max. I just started taking clients. It's in at the end of Ramadan is going to be a year.
It is.
I just started taking clients a year ago. I got my first practice pen 2 years ago. So
how many clients have you done since?
Woo,
so many.
I was gonna say, people ask me all the time. I don't even be. I swear I've never counted. But I have the tricky part about it is I have clients in multiple cities. So that's really when I feel like the numbers start to get all jumbled. But I've done over 100 tattoos easily. I'm probably closer to 2-3, but I'm just gonna keep it at a simple number.
So back again. So you said something about, I want to go back to New York. Okay. So I already had that planned out for us to talk about, but you helping my job easier, bringing up everything. So you were 18, right? 18 at the time, living on your own, came to New York, the biggest city ever. Like how like that transition as an only child, how was that just picking up from Chicago? Like you made your success here, new people, and again up and moving to New York, like was that hard? Like, were you scared?
Yeah, it was a lot, to be honest. I don't think I was able to really process it because I was moving through it, but it was a lot. Honestly, I wasn't even sure if I was going to go to New York for college until they really like, got my numbers together, sent my package. And I
Right.
was like, you know what? I could do this. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Because the last thing I wanted to do was go out there and be miserable. Promise you, that was not going to be an option. So
Exactly.
when I felt like I was safe and stable, and
Mm-hmm.
to even be able to go out there, when I was
Mm-hmm.
out there, baby, I'm like, oh, it's go time. Like,
Right.
we gotta make it count. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, I'm really good at alchemizing my energy. So when I got out there, I really tried to use it to fuel, any type of dream or any type of aspiration I had. And honestly, it worked well in my favor because people saw that energy, and that's kind of like the energy of the city in general, is to
Mm-hmm.
come there and to get going,
And get
making it
going.
happen.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm just happy that I had good friends around me. You know what I'm saying? I'm just happy that I knew where to stay away from, where to go
Yep.
to.
Yep.
I'm happy that, I always have like this good spiritual discernment. My mother raised me super well, and
Yes.
I always have the most high in
Mm.
my head. So I'm just grateful that
Tell
I'm a
him.
God-fearing woman. And
Amen.
right, amen. And at that point, the rest was pretty much, just one foot after the other.
Mm-hmm. And okay, and how long were you there? Or do you go back and
So
forth now?
no, not anymore for real. I ain't gonna lie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 23 now.
Mm-hmm.
5 years then flew by. Crazy. Um, I was in New York from 18 to 22. So I entered college in 2019. I was supposed to be class of 2023. I did
Mm-hmm.
not finish school.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided to stay there though the entire 4 years because I felt called to be super honest, like to keep it short and simple. I felt called to stay there and to go through a certain part of my life there.
Mm-hmm.
My developmental stages were there. I
Yep.
would not be half of what I am now if
Yep.
I didn't go and sit my butt down over there. So, especially as a girl, to be honest, it was essential for me to be like, you know what, this is my spot. This is where I'm gonna start growing. Watch the fruit bloom. You know what I'm saying? And New York, I'm just so happy of all of like the angels and even all the demons that was over there that have produced who I am now.
Yep.
And I've always made it a point to bring that back home. That was
Mm-hmm.
always the most important part to me, was
Right.
bringing home and just doing it for a reason, essentially,
Yep.
not necessarily just for me or to look cool, but to bring them resources and to bring them connections back to Chicago.
And that's important. And like you said, you grateful for the experience. And like you said, the angels, the demons, everything that came with it, it shaped you. And you went through it like such a pivotal age. Like that's when you like really get to know yourself. And like you said, you own your own. You have everything like in life that could go wrong, but it didn't go wrong. Like you really
Literally.
like surpassed that.
Yep.
So
And even when it was going wrong, you know what I'm saying? It's about understanding
it's
that your
yep.
plan and God's plan is different. And it's about
Hmm.
realigning yourself to be where everything is at for real. So
Yes, that's
yeah.
so important. How would you describe like the artistic scene? Like, are they different? Chicago, New York. Like, what did you see? What don't you like? What you like? Honestly, give us the real deal. Like, how
Hot
was it?
take.
The hot take.
Hot take. Chicago got a long ways to go. That's just my super quick hot take. So I wonder, I'm about to get a little nerdy, but I wonder all
Hmm.
the time about the history of Chicago soil
Yep.
and what was presented and what was done on this land before it was developed.
Right.
I always think about that because we
Hmm.
have such an energy heavy city. And not everyone knows how to articulate that. When you
No.
land in Chicago, I don't care where you from, you
Hmm.
feel it. That's why we got so many, legends and millionaires from here,
Yes.
because it's just something different in the air, off rip.
Chicago creates what?
Legends.
Legends.
Feel
Woo.
me? So right. So and that's cool. I love that. But it's the way that we haven't figured out how to channel that and how
Hmm.
to properly display that, how to
Hmm.
properly feed and water that type of energy. So as somebody that embodies it, in my heart and in my soul, as somebody that's from here, when I got to New York, for one, energy is loud, off rip, loud.
Loud.
Anywhere we go, anybody from Chicago, anywhere we go, our energy is loud. You could say
Yes.
nothing in the room.
Yes.
your eyes, your discretion, how you move, you're not lacking, you're not putting your back to that door, is loud. You know what I'm saying? So that was the first thing I kind of realized. I was like, oh, okay, like I'm from Chicago. It's like me having a pole. You know what I'm saying? Like, ain't nobody coming around. Like,
no, for
you know
real.
what I'm saying? For real. So that was really cool and interesting to figure out. And then also in New York, I guess the one thing that I feel like Chicago needs to develop and learn how to get a little bit better with is they have figured out a little bit more full circle ways with their energy. So the people help with that because there's so many different types of people in New York. So the energy gets, you know, kind of like flushed and moved around a little bit differently.
Right.
And I'm so grateful for that because I was able to harvest myself in a non-judgmental environment, a very knowledgeable environment. You know, I learned so much over there, even just about random things. And I'm really a nerd, so I love learning for real.
Yes.
For real. And then also just a level of respect that I think we don't necessarily translate the same in Chicago. Because there's only a certain amount of types of people in Chicago.
Right.
That's as far as our respect goes for real. And because we're not knowledgeable on so many different types of people in the world, you know, exactly. It's like, you know, we kind of are a product of literally what we are in terms of the Midwest.
Yes.
So being on the East Coast really allowed me to be like, oh, I'm getting a taste of the whole world. Like, this is what the whole world feel like.
Right.
And that excited me because I've always thought of myself as a global artist, global professional, whatever you want to call it. I've always wanted to travel the world, period. So the East Coast really kind of gave me a bigger taste of what humanity felt like a little bit more.
Really? And you know, New York is known for like they rude or like, you know what I mean? Like
it's love within that though, because they're rude. Like, think about even when somebody rude, it's truth in the joke. Bingo, you feel me? Right. So and don't nobody, like, I believe in tough love.
Yes.
Like, I believe in it. I ain't gonna lie. I was raised by an Aries woman. My father is a Leo. We all fire signs over here. Yep. So yeah. So I believe in tough love real bad because it created who I am today.
Right. So you think that they were more supportive, like the artistic scene there was way more supportive than here in Chicago?
Oh yeah. Not only are they necessarily like in Chicago, like, don't get me wrong, Chicago will give you your flowers as long as everybody else is.
I was about to say, well, you finishing that statement?
Yeah,
that's debatable.
It's very debatable and it's very circumstantial. But I won't say that we not loving people. It just is. It depends on the circumstances.
It depends if whoever, like, you know, is it if it's the next person following them, like, you know, like, or oh, then I'm gonna follow them. Then they cool. Like, it's not like I'm gonna mess with them because it's a genuine like thing, you know.
I don't really like that, you know, like, it's not really fun for me.
No. So do you like you want to take that, like what you learned in New York and bring it here to the scene?
Like, I try to, and
like,
I try to be, you know, I try to be more of a physical representation in that than just be talking about it. Because man, you know what I'm saying? Some people, even in Chicago, it's like you can't even talk. You just got to do.
You just got to do.
So, in my efforts to do so is about, you know, bringing that type of synergy. Like, you know, I've tried, like, me being in New York for 4 years made me realize I don't care what side of the city you from. I don't. If you have a good idea, you're good at what you do, let's work. You feel me? Yes. And that wasn't the attitude I had before I left though. I'm just like, oh, okay, like, y'all be with them, you be with them, these my people. Cool. You feel me? Right. And I was cool with that, but then I just grew up. That's really what it is. I grew up, and some people in Chicago don't really get that opportunity to grow up in a non-judgmental environment, in a non-hostile environment, in a non-backdoor environment. You know what I'm saying? So just little things like that I've been able to kind of like bring into like my Chicago experience.
We need it. We need it badly.
Oh, for real. At the end of the day, it's a group effort though. I know that much.
Thank you. It's a community effort, not just one. You just one person, Kim.
It's a village.
You can't do everything. You just one person.
And look, I ain't doing no wrestling. I ain't even trying to do everything. I ain't Clark Kent. I ain't Wonder Woman. I'm Kim Aponi. But you feel me? Like,
That's crazy. But that brings me to like my next like set of like about questions about community and collaboration. Like the art world thrives off of collaboration and community. Like that's where people get a lot of their inspiration from, their village, their people. So how would you say like you've engaged with other artists and creatives like throughout your like career so far?
That's dope. I genuinely am a collaborative person.
Yeah.
To be super honest, I always have been. And shout out to the zodiac signs. I'm an Aquarius,
Okay.
so air sign gang. You feel me? But when it
What's your big three? Sorry to cut you off.
now let's go.
Big three.
Look,
What's your
big
big three?
Aquarius. I'm an Aries moon. Yep,
Wow.
that's where all that oomph come from. I love it.
Mhm.
And then I got a Leo rising. That's why everyone think I'm just some pretty mean bitch.
You so fiery. Do you have a lot of fire?
Mhm.
What about your Mercury?
I don't know. I don't know my little three.
Okay,
I
okay,
just know my
okay,
big three.
okay. Okay, okay. My love. I'm gonna have to get it. I'm gonna have to get you into that a little
For
later. A little
sure.
later.
We gonna have to.
Wow. Okay.
But
You are
yeah.
fiery.
Yes, very. And
Yeah.
that also makes me very action based.
Yes.
On top of the fact that I'm also a very androgynous woman. Like
Mhm.
I really identify with both energies. And I do think I do have a lot of masculine tendencies and I do have a lot of feminine tendencies as well.
Mhm.
So they balance each other out. Each one kind of gets his turn every day for real, for
Yeah.
real. And I infuse that within my art and within collaborations for real by finding like-minded people and making sure that we have, a combined mission. And then
Mhm.
if you are working with people that you can work with and
Yep.
that you are working with people that are working for the same things,
Mhm.
you're going to go. If you want to go fast, you go alone. If you want to go far, you go together. So I've always understood that. You know what I'm saying?
Love that.
I've always understood that one. And I've always been like, as an Aquarius, I'm very humanitarian based, to be
Yes.
honest. I'm always thinking about the
Mhm.
world. So I want to work with all different types of people in the world. So of course that would start in Chicago, that would be in New York, wherever I am for real, for real. I'm always trying to
Mhm.
connect with different souls, to be honest.
I love that. That's important.
It
Like
is.
you said, like getting a true like understanding of somebody you want to collab with and like you said, the mission, the end goal is always important. If you're
Real
not seeing
bad.
eye to eye on like where y'all want to go, like what are we doing? We
Yeah.
you gonna see things differently. I'm gonna see things differently. The end product gonna be a mess. Like it's
For
not
real.
gonna work out well.
Yeah.
What's been your favorite, like most memorable collab, like project like you worked on so far
Ooh,
that's left a lasting impact on you?
that's a great question. I'm gonna just be super honest. I'm gonna always give it to Adidas.
Okay.
I'm gonna give it to Adidas. Adidas, I did a marketing survey for Adidas.
Mm.
And they found they not they found me, but I worked with Adidas when I was 16. And then I
Wow.
had turned 17 and I wrote me a nice little email, 17, like, hi, I would like to come and visit the office.
Uh-huh.
I'm interested in being an artist. And this is that, like real teenager type thing.
Right.
And they were like, okay, bet, let us know where you want to stay, when you want to come, and we got you. I'm just
Really?
like, whoa, yeah. So it's that level of synergy within that, like a big company. If a
Mhm.
big company wants you, they gonna make sure they get you, baby. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And I just
yep.
really appreciate how higher scheme, they handled it, and even how like micro scheme they handled it for real.
Yeah.
Like I still have lasting relationships with half of the people that I worked with in the Brooklyn Creator Farm. It
Mhm.
also taught me so much about New York. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like the reason why it's my favorite collaboration is because there were so many takeaways. There
Mhm.
was so many takeaways. And I don't think I've ever worked with like a specific person that I've had, what I'm saying, as many takeaways from,
Right.
but company wise,
Right. It was
like
a
that
whole
was,
thing.
yep, it was a whole thing. And just like I said, even just the amount of people that I got to meet within the company was super important. Their brand identity is super important to me. Like I'll
Yep.
always, you know what I'm saying? I'll always stand behind them. And
Mhm.
the work that I put in with them, I know if I call them and be like, hey, we got a community day, this community day, that, they gonna stand right behind me. So I just
Mhm.
appreciate that level of trust. That's one collaboration I feel like I really could always trust fall on,
Right.
and call them and be like,
It'll
hey, how
always be
y'all
there.
think about
Yep.
this? Yeah, how y'all do this? A long lasting relationship. That's what I think real collaborations are
It is.
for. art is deeper than rap. What,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying?
Can you hear me? Is my internet going out? Hello?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm like, what happened?
Yeah, it had went out for a second. You good.
Okay. I got everything though.
But yeah.
I love that. Like you can always lean back on that project and to even get that opportunity at a young age. That is crazy.
For real. And all it was an ask, you know what I'm saying? And I think that showed me a lot too, to be honest, with like, you know, as I used to be sitting in the Adidas store when I was a kid. My mom
Mm-hmm.
used to give me the shell toes on some
Yup.
like, you got to get A's on your report card to get this. You know what I'm saying? So to be able to understand like, okay, nothing's too big,
Right.
nobody's too big, to reach out and then boom, you know what I'm saying, get that love back. And then after they did that, they still brought me back a second time. So that they really got my heart for real. And just
After a
understanding
simple
like,
ask.
you know, yeah. And it didn't seem transactional. And that's why I really liked it. Like they wasn't
Mm-hmm.
making no money off me, but they knew like, okay, this is an investment
Yes.
for sure.
Yep.
So yeah, that was cool. I loved it.
That's inspiring. Like,
Thank you.
can a like 16-year-old say 15, like what? Adidas, you like
We
get
was
flown
in
out by
there.
them, like working,
Mm-hmm.
learning the ropes at a young age, like having
Yeah.
them pour into you in that way. Like that's very cool.
Blessed.
So
Real
like
blessed.
I know you do a lot of work like community-based work as well. And
Yeah.
I think that's important in Chicago, especially for young kids and art, even like wanting to do art and like not having that space to do it. And I really like how you actually like, go out, host the class, like, have like those galleries. Like that's really nice. What do
Thank
you
you.
see for like in the future or now soon, like what like short-term goals, whatever, like how do you want to stay connected and like support the local art scene? And like do you want to have your own organization, like, or like what organizations have you worked with, like initiatives, like what are you passionate about with art and like giving it back, giving all that you've learned, giving it back to the community?
That's such a dope plan. I'm so excited. So we have a Shy Products mantra,
Mm.
and it is, and I have this so deep in my heart, right? So it's the typical each one, teach one, but then we finish it off with reach one.
Oh.
Yeah. So each one, teach one, reach one. Personally, I feel like, and maybe I don't know if this is necessarily like intrinsic or external for real, but I feel like you're not truly successful until you put your hand out. You know
I
what I'm
agree.
saying? So it's like, it's really like those full circle moments and full circle people are very,
Mm-hmm.
very important to me. So
Yes.
my mom is a very giving person. My dad is a very giving person. I've been
Mm-hmm.
around very, very heart-filled, passionate people my whole
Mm-hmm.
life. I'm a
Yes.
passionate person. So in
Yes.
order to channel the energy correctly, in order to direct myself in the right areas of my dreams, I have to be involved with my community. And I
Mhm.
have to give back because I wouldn't be where I'm at until somebody reached a hand out for me. So I find it essential to
Yes.
go back into the community and talk to young people,
Mhm.
because influence these young people instead of just throwing them on the internet. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Thank you.
right, you know what I'm saying? And even just like smaller things, like I've been working a lot with like the immigrants that have been coming from Venezuela. I can speak a
Wow.
little Spanish, so anything I can do with, whether it be winter clothes. We was
Right.
with 93 boys at Feed Your Block. We was giving out plates.
Yep.
So anything, any small thing, I don't care how small it is, even if it's me having an interaction with somebody day to day, I'm
Yes.
always keeping in mind of that emotional deposit. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And really just the emotional bank account of the world. And in terms of Cat Williams, shout out to Cat Williams because he's the best, by the way. Love him. But
Yes.
he has this one, I forgot like who he was sitting down with, but he was literally talking about like the universe's bank and how you can withdraw whatever you can based off of what you have in there, but it's about them daily deposits.
Yep.
So I always try to do a daily deposit and really just try to be intentional with the energy that I'm putting into the world and where I'm putting that. So if I feel like, I'm bored, I need to go hang out with friends. If that's how it's supposed to be, cool, do that. But if it can't be that, go do something cool, go do something nice for somebody, or go donate this, or go drop off this. You know what I'm saying? And then
Mm.
once you get your mind set in that type of frame, it becomes a daily type of thing that's embedded in you, where you like, oh, I got them extra singles in my car.
Let me
I'm gonna
go
make
get
sure, bingo. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of, once your heart and your mind click in certain things and certain like morality
Yep.
type of like, morality type of principles that you have,
Mm-hmm.
then that's really when you start getting that them superpowers for real, and you start really
Wow.
understanding your power of who you
Yeah.
are as an individual and what's your purpose in this world, and how you
Mm-hmm.
really, fit in between the puzzle of all of this.
The emotional bank. That's a good one. I'm gonna have to
Mm-hmm.
put that. That's a great one.
Thank you.
That this got me thinking.
You
But like
know,
you can tell like your parents have put so much like love. Like it's like you put a lot of love into not even just your work, like your art, but like just like you just said, like in humanity. And
bingo.
that's the biggest problem we have today is that people are not human. Like it's like they don't have any type of humanity left in them. Like even
Mm-hmm.
down to like one in a like if even in a company or on a day-to-day, like giving somebody a helping hand, like, oh, I know how to do this, let me put you on. The simple act of putting somebody on these days is so like rare. Like people be
Oh.
so stingy with their
Mm-hmm.
talents, or if they get a little famous, they get like they don't want to like, even act on like, sharing what they did to get to that point, or like being real watery with the answer.
Yeah.
But like
Mm-hmm.
you said, it takes a lot to like, you have to always constantly be one to be poured into and give that back out, because that's
Bingo.
the only way like this world will continue to be become tolerable, because
Mm-hmm.
it's a crazy right now. Like you said, even the simple act of giving a little couple dollars, like I got a little cup, like let me just give it to, give it to somebody, or
Yeah, and
like,
I keep changing my car. You know what I'm saying? Like
right.
that's just law.
Do people think, okay, question, transparent question. Do people think
What's
maybe like you don't do that? Like you said, like you had that Leo, like you mean, like how do people even like, cause like that's true.
I swear everything in the book. I'm sure people be thinking any and everything, girl, like real bad.
Probably,
And I be letting
probably.
them. Ooh, I be letting them real bad. I be
Oh,
going,
I
oh,
feel
I be
like
what next? I did this too. I do
no,
that.
for
Okay.
real. It's a
I just be myself, and I'm so grateful for the people that are inside of my life that really really
yes.
know me, because it wouldn't be a question if you really knew me.
No,
It wouldn't even, you know what I'm saying, like even how you just getting my energy off now, it's like I ain't never had to do too much to really express
no,
myself, so
no. It's just there.
yeah,
I love that.
thank you so much.
Oh, okay. I know, we could chat all night. I know we can. So before we wrap it up, I want to talk about like your gallery spaces. Like even like how do you congrats on them, first of
Thank you
all.
so much.
That's very important. I love like your work is being shown, and that's amazing because
This
not
one
a
of
lot of
my big babies back here.
I
Like,
love it. Show everybody, because I'm
you
gonna
know,
show 'em. Yes.
this is one of my big babies. This is my home piece.
Mm.
So wherever this piece is wherever home
Wait,
is. So it's
I
been in New
love
York
that.
with me. It's
Hmm.
over here, and it's about to be in my new crib. So yes,
Yes.
I'm excited to, keep growing with my art. And every
Hmm.
day that I look at it, I'm just like, I fall in love with it in different ways, but I'm also thinking about how it could be better. So
Right. All the time.
I just love being able to have that moment of display.
Yeah. How do you even picture like pieces that you even want to be shown in those settings?
That's a great question. So I'm pretty new to the professional art world.
Hmm.
Um, Shout out to the Culture Museum. Well,
Hmm.
actually, that's a Chicago organization. Always gonna show love to any Chicago anything. A Chicago collective for real of artists. Insanely talented artists, by the way, like insanely
Yeah.
talented artists. That is focused on just art and culture and unconditional love. So
Hmm.
through aligning myself with the right people, I've been able to further my crafts into, arts and pretty much the displaying of art, also
Right.
the collection aspect of art for real.
Uh-huh.
So when I display pieces, my first gallery, my first solo gallery was in New York, in Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
I threw it on my grandfather's birthday in remembrance of him. I used to throw all of my promontory events also on his birthday.
Really?
Yes,
Fun
in
fact.
July.
Fun
Yep,
fact.
fun fact. Yeah. So, and that's just me, just trying to throw some love to my family type thing.
Okay.
But I put everything on display. So in that aspect, I put everything in display really on some like, hey, if my granddad had the chance to come from heaven and come check out what I was doing, what would I put on display for him?
That's beautiful.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
love that.
And it was very personal. And that's like our art is very personal for me. I'm just
It is.
grateful and glad that some people can resonate with it. But
Yeah.
a lot of the stuff, especially like canvases and stuff, oh baby, that's for me. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not worried about it looking like something, looking like somebody.
Yep.
None of that. No, if you either feel it or you don't. And that's cool if you don't. Somebody gonna feel
Somebody will.
exactly. So that's another thing too. I've kind of just realized with art is like, oh, this is not something that could be wrong. I can't do the wrong thing. You know what I'm saying? And really just that level of emotion. So art really, really helped me with channeling my emotions, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
As an Aquarius, I tend to be very logical.
Yep.
Which is sometimes my downfall. So me displaying art is pretty much a way to kind of like put my emotions on display a little bit
And break free from that rigidness, like what you might not want to do. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. And it also allows that connectivity where it's like, some people may not feel like they relate or can relate to me, or they just feel a little far away. And then you kind of get to come up a little closer to a piece, that has literally my heart in it. Literally. So yeah, I'm really grateful. I have some artwork up now at Wrigley Field, Chicago Cubs Stadium.
Really?
And yes. So happy, so grateful, so blessed. And my peoples are diehard Cubs fans. Like when they was
so it worked out.
Exactly. When they was losing, I used to be so embarrassed. I'm like, oh no, we Cubbies fans. So now I'm in there like, oh yeah, woohoo. You know what
like your artwork is in there.
Yes, I'm so grateful.
Crazy.
I just put up 2 new pieces today, actually, too. So right now, I'm the youngest in the gallery, off rip, youngest artist in the collective, off rip. And then honestly, I don't even want to think about how many pieces I've sold for real, but I have pieces in like over 4 different cities in terms of permanent artwork. So once I went from like galleries and stuff, I was like, okay, let me start like pushing towards these murals because I don't want to take the art down. I want it to stay
up.
So then I got into murals and stuff. I'm about to work on a mural in Detroit. Shout out to Trempleplex soon. And yeah, just just trying to express myself and find where I need to be aligned at. That's it.
And that's everywhere. Like you leaving your mark literally across the whole entire city.
And soon the world. Inshallah.
And soon the world. This is literally Kim's world, y'all. We live in it. We're about to be everywhere. Kim for president.
He's so real.
As we wrap up, like let's talk future plans and then give us, a little like what would you want to leave our listeners with? Any piece of advice, anything, like literally anything for the mic drop moment.
So real. Let's see. Off rip, everyone is an artist. Everyone's an artist. Like this is art that we making right here. This is art. You know what I'm saying?
We're collabing right now as we speak.
Everyone is an artist. Everything is art.
Yes.
Another one, be careful with y'all energy. Start understanding the different types of emotions and thoughts and messages that your body is sending you every day, and try to channel those things into areas that are productive or just positive for yourself. What else? I always say this on my stories and on my Instagram, but just pray. It don't matter what God you worship, who you talking to. You can be talking to the universe. You can be talking to yourself. You can be talking to anybody that you believe in. But positive affirmations for yourself, positive conversations into the world, positive conversations to other people, positivity in general. Let's stay on that. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of negativity in the world. Negativity is very high consumption, based. Nah, I'm always gonna be a positive person. I'm always gonna be a light worker. If you feel like you got light inside of you and you want to share that, always just be true to who you are. Be true to who you are. Be yourself.
Please.
Always be
Please.
yourself. You can never go wrong with being yourself.
There's
Just be
too many carbon
real.
copies of people out here.
You know,
Sick
yes.
of it.
Man, for real. So I hope that, this podcast, this studio in general can really promote people to keep being their authentic self.
Yes.
And to realize that there's a lot of other people in the world that you may have perceptions of, or you may think this and that and the third. Everyone's different. Everyone grows. Everyone grows every day. Change is inevitable. I used to have in my bio, embrace change. Embrace it, like feed into it. That new version of yourself that's only in your head, pull that out into reality. And just keep going. Just keep going. I tell myself that every day. It's hard sometimes. Life be lifing. Yes, everything don't be making sense.
Nope.
Everything be feeling crazy sometimes. Just keep it going. Just keep it going. And I'm just grateful to my Most High, you know what I'm saying, that I get to wake up every day and to just try again and to try something new. Keep learning, keep doing, keep that positivity up, and keep watching,
Yes, keep watching.
Crazy.
That's crazy. Like you said, like you wake up, you get to try again each day.
Every day.
I ain't never even think about it like that. You get a new day.
So grateful.
You get a new day.
Every 24. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Yep. Every day.
I love that. Thank you, Kim. Like,
thank you for so much fun.
Like, thank you for like expressing yourself, letting us get to know a little deeper behind like the clothes, behind everything, like letting us get to know, a little bit more about Kim and your like world of art. And you're so great. Like, I've enjoyed our conversation.
Yes, it was a blast. And you're great at what you do.
Oh my God, thank you. Y'all heard it here, folks. Kim said, I'm great at what I do.
Period.
Yes. Well, thank you for this episode. And until next time, keep creating, keep exploring. And like Kim said, be ready for that change. Okay.
Embrace it.
Embrace that change. Keep going. Each day is a new day. I love it.
For sure.
Thank you, Kim.
For sure. Thank you.